Let's look at two scenarios. Student who studies for 30 minutes a day, gets 8 hours of sleep, maintains a social life, and consistently scores in the top 3% of their class. They spend most of their study time taking practice tests and teaching concepts to classmates. Student B studies for 4 hours every day, sacrifices sleep, rarely sees friends, and still struggles to maintain a B average. They fill notebooks with highlighted text and spend hours rereading chapters. What's the difference between them? It's not intelligence, it's not dedication, it's not even luck. It's how they study, not how long they study. Rate your study method from 1 to 10. Got it? Awesome. By the end of this video, we'll see if that score still holds up. Plus, I will share the study plan that took me from B's and C's to straight A's. The night that changed everything. I remember my junior year, cramming for my psychology exam at 4 a.m. My dorm was a mess of coffee cups and notebooks. I was doing everything right, highlighting key points, rereading chapters, writing detailed notes that looked aesthetically perfect. But deep down, something felt off. Despite all those hours, the information was slipping through my brain like sand through my fingers. That night changed everything for me, not because I aced the test, but because I failed miserably. It forced me to face a hard truth. I had no clue how to study effectively. The productivity illusion, the consumption trap. Think about it, we've all fallen into this trap, drenching our textbooks in highlighter ink until they look like abstract art. Rereading the same paragraph hundreds of times hoping it'll finally stick. Or writing pages of notes only to never look at them again. Just like those saved Instagram reels. We never revisit. We confuse the time spent studying with the amount we actually retain. You know you're in this trap when you spend more time picking the perfect highlighter color than actually understanding the material. Or when you create the perfect study playlist, only to realize you spent more time curating it than studying. Nobody teaches us this in school. It's not about time, it's about strategy. There's this thing called the consumption trap, where we think that consuming more info means learning more. Teachers often say stuff like study for 3 hours, but that's misleading. But here's the catch, your brain isn't a sponge that just absorbs info automatically, but heights more like a muscle that needs training and rest to grow. Here's a formula that changed my entire approach to studying. Real learning equals amount of information multiplied by retention rate. Imagine two students, one studies for 4 hours but retains only 10% of the material. The other studies for just 30 minutes, but retains 50%. Both end up with the same amount of retained information. But the first student wasted for extra hours. If you study for 4 hours and only retain 10%, you actually only benefited from 30 minutes of studying. But if you study for just 30 minutes with a strategy that helps you retain 50%, you save time and energy. Now, what if I told you that studying less could actually improve your grades? Sounds crazy, right? Especially when every YouTube video out there is screaming study harder. Why are you so weak? Get up and study now. The power of active learning. I found that studying less actually boosted my grades. Instead of spending hours rereading and highlighting, I switched to active learning, like practice questions and explaining things to others. My retention shot up from 10% to 80%. How awesome is that? Passive studying is like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You keep pouring in knowledge, but it just doesn't stick. Once I fixed that, my study time halved, and I went from B's and C's to straight A's. Thinking, how can I study less and remember more? No worries. I've got your back. Here's a study strategy that really works. Break your study time into shorter chunks. About 30 minutes per subject is ideal. Taking a 5-minute break for every 10 to 15 minutes of study to allow your brain to recover from the accumulation of information. Test yourself first before reviewing. Try recalling what you already know. Identify weak spots. Focus on the topics you struggle with. Use active study methods. Answer questions. Explain concepts out loud or use flashcards. Connect ideas together. This makes information easier to retrieve later. Quick review before bed. Your brain consolidates info while you sleep. Now, go back to the number you rated your study habits at the start of this video. Do you still think it deserves that score? If not, that's your first sign that you're ready to level up. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more exciting content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.